It's a crucial day for Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan's political career. The embattled Premier is facing a no-confidence vote in the Pakistan Parliament. The motion is expected to be tabled today in the country's National Assembly, and once the motion is tabled, 7 days of debate will ensue. This before an actual vote takes place. WION has gathered from its sources that a key vote on the no-confidence motion may take place in the country's National Assembly on the 4th of April. For a clearer picture, let us break down the numbers of the lower house. There are a total of 342 seats, 177 of which are with the PTI-led ruling alliance. Out of the 177, 156 belong to the PTI, 7 with the MQMP, 5 with the BAP, and another 5 seats for PMLQ. But ahead of the debate and vote on the motion, Imran Khan has made some startling allegations. In a show of power, Khan held a rally in the capital Islamabad yesterday. Thousands gathered to rally behind the country's beleaguered Prime Minister. Khan told a crowd of tens of thousands of supporters that a foreign-funded conspiracy is behind the no-confidence motion against him. He said he knew of the conspiracy for some months. Without elaborating, he added that he had a letter with him as proof. The Premier flashed a letter before the public. Khan also said that he had received written threats to resign.
हमारे मुल्क में बाहर से पैसे की मदद से हुकूमत तब्दील करने की कोशिश की जा रही है। पैसा बाहर से, पैसा बाहर से है, लोग हमारे इस्तेमाल हो रहे हैं, ज्यादातर अनजाने में, लेकिन कुछ जानबूझ के ये पैसा इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं हमारे खिलाफ। पाकिस्तानी कौम ने ये फैसला करना है कि वो बाहर के अरबों रुपए लेके हुकूमत के खिलाफ साजिश करने वाले गुलामों को कामयाब होने देंगे।
But the claims were quickly ridiculed by the opposition. President of the Pakistan Democratic Movement, Maulana Rahman, said, and I quote, "No cheat can save you now. You are staging dramas when your government is about to end." End of quote. PMLN Vice President Mariam Nawaz also criticized Imran Khan's claims. She asked if the US was responsible for dissident PTI members in the National Assembly. The PMLN Vice President also rebuked the National Assembly's Speaker's decision. This was to delay the no-confidence motion session. She said that Imran Khan was violating the Constitution through the Speaker. In recent weeks, more than 20 lawmakers have deserted Khan. PTI needs to achieve a simple majority with 172 votes. But with the rising defectors, it seems like a difficult target. If the opposition wins a simple majority to topple Khan, a new Prime Minister will be chosen by the Parliament. The former cricketing star, who came to power in 2018, has been accused by the opposition of mismanaging the Pakistan's economy and foreign policy. The country's powerful military is also reportedly disenchanted with his leadership. And for more on this, joining us live from Islamabad is journalist Imtiaz Gul. Imtiaz, thank you very much for making time and welcome to WION.
Welcome.
Now, is this a do or die for the Prime Minister? And does he have any reasons to worry about the no-confidence motion?
Well, I think regardless of which way the no-confidence motion goes, one thing is very clear, that the Prime Minister has embarked on an electoral campaign. The way he has been addressing the rallies and demonstrating his strength through the people that even yesterday came from every nook and corner of the country. He is just trying to mobilize as many people as possible. And there is already very strong talk of possible early elections like 6-7 months down the lane. So probably he is reconciled with the fact that perhaps the no trust move may succeed against him, and as an alternative, he has already started mobilizing people.
Imtiaz, what next for the Prime Minister if he fails the motion? And if he does succeed, what does he need to win, to do to win back the trust of the people of Pakistan?
I think a lot of people within the ranks of PTI have been advising him to seek a fresh mandate in the given toxic situation that has arisen because of this confrontation between the PTI on the one hand and the rest of the political parties who have been ruling this country for nearly 70 years together, including, of course, the military. So these status quo forces on the one hand and PTI on the other is really has injected a lot of poison, a lot of toxicity in the national narrative. And that's why I think a lot of people would prefer a fresh mandate, just because even if the allies and some of the dissidents return to the ranks of the party, it will be extremely unfair, a very extremely uncomfortable coalition situation to be together with the people who have been bad-mouthing each other when they defected. So as a whole, I think the PTI is also reconciled with the idea of going for fresh elections.
Finally, Mr. Imtiaz, the opposition seems confident about this motion. If it goes their way and Imran Khan is ousted, does the opposition seem ready or prepared to take charge of the government?
Well, that is a billion-dollar question, because these at least two major parties, the PMLN and the PPP, have been at each other's throat the last 30 years or so, and they have been publicly abusing one another, vowing to bring back the money that Asif Ali Zardari reportedly took out of the country, and Asif Ali Zardari vowing to punish the Sharifs for the money, for the loot and plunder that they committed. So it's at the moment it's quite unclear as to whether if Shahbaz Sharif becomes the Prime Minister after the no trust move against Imran Khan goes through, then what will be the scenario in provinces, in Punjab, in Karachi, where still PTI governors, PTI nominated governors are ruling those provinces. So it's a lot of confusion at the moment, but I would wonder if any government led by either by the People's Party or by the PMLN at the center would really be as smooth as they want the Imran Khan's government to be, because they have a history of disparate ideas, ideologies, and animosity against one another.
Finally, Mr. Imtiaz, yesterday at the Grand Rally, the Prime Minister presented a letter and said that he got the letter from some of the people who had proposed the no confidence motion. Who does it help here? Does it help the opposition or does it help him? Why is he pulling out this letter at this moment?
Well, I think that I don't know the veracity of the letter, number one. Number two, he tried to emulate the example of former Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who at the height of agitation against him in sometime in April, May 1977, also had pulled out a piece of paper from his pocket in Rawalpindi, telling the people that this was a letter from Americans who have vowed and promised to make an example out of him for his opposition to the Americans. So Imran Khan probably tried to stage a similar antic. Regardless of that, the fact that a lot of money may have changed hands, it's quite possible. But the letter having come from outside, from certain political power, I don't really believe it. However, Khan may have annoyed the United States and some European Union countries because he had been talking a very harsh language about them in his public rallies, because he believes that the Prime Minister of Pakistan has to speak the truth, has to pursue an independent foreign policy, and that every now and then people are bringing in the conversation 1-2 words that he spoke in an interview with an American network, in which he was asked about the possibility of giving military bases to the Americans once again, and when he said absolutely not. So this has been basically held out to Imran Khan as something which may have annoyed the Americans, and that's why there are suggestions that the Americans may be behind it. But, I don't believe that. A lot of trouble basically began inside the country. The party and the Prime Minister himself has also been partially to blame for a lot of things that have happened in the last 3.5 years.
Imtiaz Gul, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time and for talking to WION today. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.